Apollo Tires with You First technology, crafted for the safety of your loved ones.
Introducing the design you've been waiting for. Minimized frame, maximized 3D. And now, maximize your celebrations. Get amazing gifts this festive season with India's #1 3D TV. Experience the smartest 3D TV.
Hello and welcome to the 6th Annual Express Logistics and Supply Chain Conclave, Asia's largest forum for logistics and supply chain professionals. Today we're here to share with you their views and expertise across various verticals in this business. That and a lot more coming your way over the next half hour. Be it pharmaceuticals, engineering, automotive or food processing. In an ever-changing global scenario, the functionality of all these industries depends on a highly efficient logistics backbone. Supply chain and logistic management is an ever-evolving process, and the Express Logistics and Supply Chain Conclave was organized to reveal and celebrate the revolutionary ideas, technologies and strategies adopted by some of India's leaders in the business. Now in its 6th year, the Express Logistics and Supply Chain Conclave registered over 400 participants and speakers from across the industry. This edition was themed around New World, New Rules, New Ideas, and all forums and panel discussions were focused on just that.
We begin the conclave as I first introduce to you our speaker, Mr. Tony Wines, CEO, Turnkey Group, to present the keynote address.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about what is the new world of logistics going to look like in the next few years. And one of the very interesting themes is on an area that's being widely discussed globally, that of sustainable logistics surrounding the environment, and how do organizations within the logistics industry and supply chain industry incorporate and envelop environmental best practices as an everyday practice to improve productivity and enhance growth within our industry. This first slide just shows you some of the dynamics around sustainability in the present day. If we looked at this in 2006, I would say there would be only one key thing that people were discussing. Why do we need to change, and how do we change? In 2012, the change has already taken place. Sustainability is clearly defined within our industry. Leading manufacturers, global logistics companies, retailers around the world already incorporate very strong sustainability programs which create pressure to organizations that don't have it. There's pressure from clients, increased legislation from government. Leading logistics providers are differentiating the whole logistics industry through sustainability as a value-add differentiator from everyday practice. We now see distinct best practices within sustainability in our industry for the first time. We can actually go and see some of these leading organizations and see how they actually perform environmental best practices and how they create growth, cost savings, and retention of clients through their practices. The growth of e-commerce is taking a very enhanced role within this industry, and business processes becoming even more prevalent when we see the reduction in margins, the pressure on margins, and difficult economic environment in which to work in.
After the keynote speech by Tony Wines, CEO of the Turnkey Group, the conclave kicked off with 2 back-to-back discussions, the Logistics Leaders Executive Panel and the Supply Chain Officers Panel. Each panel discussed and debated major issues like implementing effective logistics solutions to reduce costs and balance risks, and optimizing the entire supply chain.
At any given point in time, I think the supply chain is fully integrated with business strategy. What evolves over a period of time is customer demand. Customer demand over a period of time, with every passing month, keeps evolving. It's driven by technology, various changes in the environment, business demands, changes in the, let's say, global business pattern and various other factors. But supply chain is completely integrated with business strategy, and it's very, very well planned. Supply chain is all around us. Yeah, supply chain as a science is possibly as old as the mankind. You know, right from the time when there were wars to where they were building temples to the time when they were two kingdoms were fighting, everything involves supply chain. So therefore, depending on the demand at the point in time, supply chain is well orchestrated to meet the business strategy.
I firmly believe supply chain strategy has evolved into a boardroom scenario where it's part of the boardroom and it has to co-evolve along with the business strategy. If that is not done, what happens is the business strategy misses out on some exploitable competitive advantages, and supply chain is likely to fail actually rather than be a successful support mechanism for the business. Also, supply chain co-evolved will ensure the supply chain is not only aligned with the business strategy but actually enhances the business strategy. So personally, yes, it should be co-evolved.
Technology is a tool. You can either use it as a gun to shoot an enemy, or you can shoot yourself in the foot, right? So you use it to become more agile. That's how typically we have a transportation management offering that is in the cloud, that makes your deployment easy, that can make you mobile, so your workforce can actually become mobile on the ground, and that makes a big, big difference. Because that is where you actually concentrate on when you look at deployment, the time of deployment, the time it takes to change your supply chain logistics over a period of time. Gone are the days of deployments taking 18 months to roll out. You're really looking at companies that actually go to a few $1 billion in 6 months to a year, and the whole technology scene is changing. So that's how you actually look at the technology, and you apply it as a tool. You apply it with agility, you apply it so that you can go mobile, and you also apply it to make sure that your deployments are faster and bring down your total cost of ownership.
Besides a well-orchestrated supply chain and a customer-friendly business strategy, there are many more new fundamentals for growth and development to gain that all-important competitive advantage over the rest. And the CEO's Roundtable panel highlighted the areas to focus on to maintain agility while serving the customer's need of the hour.
Unless an organization does not adopt a customer-centric approach, where your offering is being tailored to the demands of the customer or the requirements of the customer, unless you don't align your operating model around what the customer requires, your competitive advantage in today's scenario is likely to get lost out.
So it's important that whatever base you have built up, that has some sense in a long-term thought. It cannot be that you have acquired customers just for the numbers for this year, and then those customers won't repeat next year.
So the rate, the agility that everybody mentioned is very, very key there. And that means that your processes, your systems, and your way of thinking also has to change very quickly.
If you're offering similar or same services that the way your competition is offering in a lower cost is a cost competitor, and if you are having some differentiation and having the more benefit excel the competition, then you are a differentiating competitor.
The alignment is purely based on the common platform between a logistic provider and a supply chain manager in a particular company. And it is important that both organizations or both stakeholders should have the same wavelength in understanding logistics based on whatever infrastructure you have. And this is purely based on the skill sets what we talk about and the infrastructure what you have in India.
Some of the biggest challenges that supply chain and logistics industry right now is facing are in terms of infrastructure gaps which exist in the country, regulatory bottlenecks that exist in the country, and also I would say in terms of the skill gaps which exist. And in times to come, I think the bigger challenges would come in terms of the technology gaps that exist. or that may be coming in the country. So I would say currently I would say infrastructure is a huge issue because road networks in the country are not very good, so to speak, and perhaps for movement of goods that happen in the country today, 70% of the goods are moved in the country through road, and that condition may be prevalent for the next decade or so, still through road itself.
Every panel discussion catered to solutions to a number of industry-related issues. Cost-effective technologies, attracting and developing new talent in the industry, and rebuilding key infrastructures in supply chain were addressed, thus keeping up with the theme of the day. Some interesting insight back there on supply chain strategy, business strategy, and the challenges that come along with them. Time for us to slip into a short break though, but when we return, there's 5 industry forums.
Presented by BVI MSR in association with Safe Express, Platinum Partner Blue Dart DHL. Conceived and managed by Kamikaze B2B Media.
The new Bolero.
I'm hungry. इसमें भी कुछ मिल नहीं रहा है. किसी से पूछ ले.
भाई साहब.
ओए, शाहरुख खान. पूछो ना.
नहीं. My Nokia Lumia has an app for this. Nokia City Lens. ये हमको दिखाएगा रेस्टोरेंट, शॉप्स, थिएटर्स और सब कुछ.
क्या चलते हैं?
ओए, शाहरुख खान. Experience Nokia City Lens and over 100,000 apps on Nokia Lumia.
We've got the IIP number for the month of August. It's come in at 2.7% against 0.1% for July.
Number that has come is reassuring. Going ahead, I think that the forecast that we had for the year as a whole of close to 4% may be achieved.
When India Inc.'s performance exceeds expectations, it's first only on ET Now.
For things to improve, we need better and good governance in India. Reduce corruption and take the tough decisions, otherwise go for elections. As far as the companies are concerned, don't blame the government. We are growing and we are not looking at the government. They are not going to be dependent on them.
Welcome back to the 6th Annual Express Logistics and Supply Chain Conclave. Now, the most important aspect to keep in mind while setting up a supply chain business is, of course, the industry that is catering to. Today, the 5 Industry Forum will address various needs across verticals like FMCG, pharma and auto. Let's slip inside now for this exclusive. Over the 2-day period, the conclave hosted 5 industry forums, guaranteeing the most in-depth discussions on topics such as pharma, auto, high-tech, FMCG and retail and chemical. And all these forums had interactive themed discussions and panel sessions, along with a Q&A opportunity, which helped the participants gain practical solutions to their day-to-day problems and form networking opportunities with many industry leaders.
I think there are 2 key skills that the supply chain leader needs to work on. First is the standardization of the ecosystem in the supply chain, and second is collaborating on the best practices. So the industry itself becomes standardized and therefore more efficient, and best practice led and therefore an attractive industry.
The international logistics companies are having a vast global experience. They have built their processes over a period of time, stabilized them, then they have introduced technology around those processes, and then they went ahead further to expand the service portfolio, offering solutions to the customer. So the Indian logistics companies, in order to compete with them and give the same kind of flavor to the customers in the country, have to focus on process stability and quickly adopt latest technology, and then they should focus on understanding the customer requirement, build innovative solutions, and then offer the services to them.
The High-Tech Supply Chain Forum was a platform that let individuals directly interact with its leaders. They understood the latest issues related to the industry and the process of dealing with them. And this forum also helped in gaining a multifaceted perspective into the progress of the technology industry.